Hello, dear people of the KOOFA 200th Initiative Facilitation event. Wow, that's a magical number. I'd like to give you a brief introduction to myself, who I am, what I'm about, a bit of my history, what my session is going to be, and hopefully encourage you all to come and meet me and see me in the flesh, because I'm much better in the flesh than I am on this video. So, my name is Dr. Tom Schwarz, and I've known Richard since way before the 100th initiative that was in 2018. And I had the privilege to come across to Seoul to help support that 200th initiative. So a little bit about myself. I've got a doctorate in physical chemistry, hard sciences. Then I spent 20-something years as a corporate IT executive for Hewlett-Packard, Apple Computers, Digital Equipment Corporation. And now for over 20 years, I've been driving my own working with people side initiatives, very similar to KOOFA, only I'm more agnostic. I don't just focus on OD. I go anywhere where there's a need to improve the human dimension of the business organisation and the initiative, but we get along very, very well. That was about my work experience. You might say 3 different careers. Tom, what did that give you knowledge of and what have you learned? I say, well, I learned a lot about change and a lot about transitions. But is there a common thread, a common factor? And yes, there is. The most difficult part about all of my work, and I always worked at the cutting edge of trying new things, moving across to the human dimension work. I now work with leadership teams, I work with change initiatives, I work with everyday people that have to hold groups with conversations, very intense conversations, to provide new progressive ways of going forward, which are creative, that hold values, that hold principles that they're keen on, helping them come face to face with what they may have to let go of. Basically, it's about empowerment and empowering people to step into spaces to go forward. It's the sort of thing that people need in COVID times and especially now in post-COVID times. I can see here that I've been asked to share with you, why me? Spotlight on Tom. So I have a bit of fame and notoriety around the traps. So I won quite a few awards with my IT company world, so I'm not going to bore you with them. In terms of facilitation and leadership, I guess I was one of the first inductees into the International Association Hall of Fame in recognition for support of facilitation globally. I'm an IF-CPFE, that basically means my hair is white. I've got a lot of experience in doing what I've been doing, and I'm pretty successful at what I'm doing. My claim to fame that I really like to put forward here is I led the initiative for the IAF. I was one of the team members here when suddenly COVID hit in 2020, right at the beginning. By the end of 2020, we were running our IF-CPF certifications online. So we'd successfully taken an in-person intensive process, and we shifted the whole lot online to the same standard, the same rigor, to the same competence framework, discovered a whole lot about the process and ourselves. Publications, I don't write books, I don't write theses, but I have a few chapters in different books. I've published a few works online in different things, but I tend not to be a publications type person. So my session, which is really what I got all excited about and was almost going to tell you, and as you can hear, when I get excited, I talk very, very fast, and it will up to be to KOOFA and the people helping me with the translations to slow me down, to pour some cold water on me when I get very excited and passionate about what I do. So in 2018, the theme of my talk was about empowerment. And just forgive me while I look sideways at one little note. I'm going to read out to you some very interesting similarities about the driving ethos, the driving principles between myself, KOOFA, and other organisations that helps explain why I'm so excited to be supporting Richard and KOOFA. So in KOOFA, I noticed in the emails and on the website, you say, we realise the hidden greatness in groups. Amazing. So it's not about KOOFA, it's about helping the group achieve its potential. In facilitation, we say, in fact, it's one of the last competencies we assess for is the wisdom lies in the group. So the key about facilitation is it's not about the content expertise that I have then I'm a consultant. But it's how do I empower the group to co-create and come up with the solutions and outcomes that they need to resolve what they need to do going forward. And they have the wisdom, not myself. For myself, I like to brand myself as Tom, a passion for people, breathing life into potential. In other words, I'm acknowledging that groups, organizations, entities have this passion, have this possibility, have this capability for resolving their own needs. My space is to help them discover that, to empower them to discover it so they are self-empowered themselves. And to do this, a lot of the time I use mixtures and blends of different processes. Facilitation you've heard about. One of them is also psychodrama. This was invented by a gentleman called J.L. Marino, and he's very, very famous for saying within every person lies a creative genius or a creative genius role. And again, as a psychodramatist, our role, our mission is to help them find that, to step into that and release that going forward. So there's a congruence around these four, and that's why I'm excited to do this work. Coming all the way back in 2018, I talked about empowerment. How is it that we can work to empower ourselves? This time round, I'm going to do something that's a companion to that work. I'm still looking at change. I'm still looking at transformation and going forward. But I've decided to give people a really, really close-up look at that space between past is past. It's no longer there. Going forward is the future. It's not there yet either. You can see where my finger disappears. It's not there yet. And where my mouth is, where my nose is, that's the current here and now. It's in the, what we call a subliminal zone. I want to explore that in detail and depth. What's going on here? Because in this region, you're making, people are making, organizations are making, teams are making all sorts of sliding moment decisions, choices to go this way, to go that way, to step forward, to step back, all sorts of different things. And it's in here that you lay the groundwork and the seeds for going forward. And this is where possibilities are apparent to you. So it's going to be a very, very close-up look, and it fits in really, really nicely with the KOOFA philosophy around bringing forth the greatness in groups and people. How am I going to do it? Well, it's going to be highly experiential. Very simply, I'm going to spend a lot of time on something we call warm-up, which is collecting the group, collecting the people, forming a group and a team, so that you come out, you're all different people, all coming in from different places, and how do we make a space, one group, which is interacting and whole. Then we're going to spend another bit of time actually doing the exploration that I've told you about, the deep dive into this thing that I've called transitions, the moment, the in-between moment between the past and the future. And finally, okay, well, we've done all this stuff. What have we done? How are we feeling? What have we learned? What's the relevance to what we're doing? What's the relevance to KOOFA initiative? And this is what I call harvesting. So my expectation is that this is a contribution, hopefully of value. It will be of depth to what the KOOFA initiative is doing, which is a great smorgasbord, if you will, around facilitation and capabilities and OD, organisational design, and how it matters, focusing around the human invention, but of course, deeply concerned with organisations. What framework, what structure empowers, enlivens, enriches, and bring forth this potential from people? So that's the connection there. My expectations actually is I'm going to learn a lot because I really, really, really like experiencing all the different cultural environments, which is a framing of how people be, how they behave, their expectations, their belief systems, and that enriches my awareness of myself, my awareness of others, and my awareness of how to deepen that connection between different people, different organizations, and different states. And please, 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 I encourage you to come along to this 200th Initiative Facilitation Festival. It's an amazing feat to get there. The work is amazing. Coming from the human dimension is the way to go to have an impact on people and going forward. So come along, be prepared to be courageous, engage with all that you have, and also share back from yourself in terms of your wisdom and contribute to the finding so that other people can harness and share what they're doing as well. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I look forward to seeing you. Bye for now.